Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two blended Scotch whiskies, and the first one here is from 1910. The company's from 1827, okay, but this particular one is called Ballantine's Finest, introduced in 1910. There's the George Ballantine Company crest. You see a griffin holding a sword, two Scottish flags, two unicorns holding up a shield with various things on it. All right. Blended and bottled in Scotland, obviously. This big bottle, brown glass, good thing, brown glass. This big bottle cost me like $26. 1,750 milliliter bottle. No age statement. Now the competitor is Dewar's age 18 years, the vintage. And I got these mini bottles, and if you add up what I paid per ounce, it would come to $44.50 for a full-size bottle, which is significantly less than the normal price of $68 a bottle. So instead of paying $68 per bottle, I got it, as it calculates out, I got it for $44.50. So a great savings. I didn't save anything on this. That's the regular price. But the Ballantines is much, much cheaper because you can find a regular bottle of it for like $15. So $15 Scotch whiskey blended versus a $68 blended Scotch whiskey. So a $53 difference. Is it going to be $53 better? When I went up against the Mitsunara, it was a $20 difference, and it wasn't $2 better. It wasn't even better. Actually, I preferred the Mitsunara, honestly. So Craig Swinson says, good morning. Good morning to you. So here we go. Make sure I use the right labels because sometimes I'm absent-minded and I'll be pouring the product in the wrong glass, which does not help, to say the least. There we go. That should be enough. Yeah, just right. And I got one of these minis left, which will give us two more taste challenges, more than I had thought, more than I had expected. So it's very nice. We'll be able to go with another Chivas Brothers product tomorrow. Oh, drop the cap here. Oh, well, wherever it went, I got to get it. Went somewhere down there. All right. I don't want to step on it. It could cut me. That's aluminum sharp. Okay. So we'll be able to go up against Hunter Piper's. Tuesday, I already did Mondays preemptively. And then a while back. And then Wednesday, we got one more challenge left. We can do Dewar's 18-year age versus, we'll say, probably it will be Grant's. Another major product. I may as well go up against major brands at this time instead of going up against obscure things like Inverhouse and that kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with it, but I mean, Grant's is a lot more widespread. Okay, and then it's off to brandy. Yes, brandy. Well, I can see that the Ballantines is lighter. It's paler. It's not really pale. It's gold. Paler than the Dewar's 18-year age, the vintage, which is produced under a royal warrant of Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Scotland, as they got their royal warrant like over 100 years ago. It's a certificate that makes them an official whiskey provider, or as they say, purveyor to the royal family of Scotland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Canada, Jamaica, the British Virgin Islands, the British territories in Cyprus, on Cyprus Island, 2 territories, Gibraltar, and other realms around the world. Okay. I'm getting a little honey, some vanilla and oak. Is vanilla added? No, no, no. This one here is a lot more flat in the nose, just like a faint whiskey nose. You say, what does that mean? You know, just like fermented grains, distilled grains, but nothing too well bland. You know, dull, kind of block, kind of dead note. Neutral is a better word. Okay, so I think by smelling it that one is the Dewar's 18-year age vintage, and that one's the Ballantines finest. It's funny that they call it their finest because it's actually their cheapest. It's the introductory brand to the family of Ballantines, because they make a 12-year age, a 15-year age. What did they show here? Let me look at the Chivas Brothers website. The range includes, now notice it doesn't say the range, the complete range. They're showing what they want you to see. Ballantines finest, Ballantines 12-year-old, a lime-infused spirit drink called Ballantines Brazil. Every company like this make these liqueurs, you know. Scotch mixed with lime. And the smooth, smoky, spicy blend, Ballantines Hard Fired. Ballantines Hard Fired. I haven't even seen that one, ever. It is completed by a highly acclaimed prestige range, including Ballantines 17-year-old, 21-year-old, 30-year-old, and even a 40-year-old. Now, and George Ballantine told his sons, you get the blend right and you've got everything right. You get the blend right and you've got everything right. Okay. But I guess Ballantines finest sounds better than calling it Ballantines cheapest. And then the Dewar's 18-year age, only been on the market for 19 years. Taste time. But remember, I'm suspecting this is the Dewar's. A lot of oak wood, a lot of vanilla, honey. It's rich and it's bold. The flavor is rich and bold. Yeah, it tastes like it's been sitting in an oak barrel for 18, resting in an oak barrel for 18 years. Oh, I'm sorry, an oak cask. They don't have barrels in Scotland. They call them casks. You say, well, isn't a cask the same thing as a barrel? Yes. And that's when the Jack Daniels guy got into the argument with the 2 Scottish guys when I was on the tour, and they were saying, well, we use casks. And he was getting mad, and he said, a cask, that's what you put a dead body in. All right. Creamy, vanilla-y, woody. A little grain alcohol bitey, though. So in the Dewar's is bringing out like the grain, the ethanol. Just kind of like fuel. But not a bad flavor. But you do get the grain spirits, which people would call vodka. You know, they'll say, it's just brown vodka. Well, you have to have a child's mentality to actually believe that. It might be a flip statement to make. and people are flipping, sarcastic, and I've been that way myself, you know. But it's not really a good way to be. But when people call Canadian whiskey and American blended whiskey and blended Scotch and blended Irish whiskey brown vodka, you hope that they're not actually serious, because then that would display a gross amount of ignorance, you know. Like, it's almost like they're saying that they're taking vodka and putting brown food coloring in it and then selling it, which is totally not what it is. Okay. They do add food coloring now, which is caramel color, to many of these products. Caramel color. But it's more than that. Much more than that. Okay, but anyway. I've had some beers, not beer snobs. Well, they're bad too. They're out there too. But the whiskey snobs say things, but they were inaccurate, like saying stuff, and I was like, well, that's not true. And I call them out on it. They don't want to hear it, you know. I said, well, you don't have to like it. That's just an opinion. You know, you can say, well, I don't like that kind of stuff. It's cheap and I don't like it. Well, some blends are exorbitantly priced, you know, hundreds of dollars a bottle. But if you want to say I don't like something, go ahead. Don't like, you know, you don't have to like it. But if you're going to make statements that are inaccurate, then now you're just inaccurate. It's not an opinion. You're just wrong. You know, like saying, well, bourbon has to be aged at least 2 years. No, bourbon doesn't have to be aged at any specific amount of time. So if you say that, you better be a little bit more specific. And I've had them tell me, what? Bourbon does have to be aged at least 2 years, and get real hostile with me. I said, no, you're wrong. I just let them set themselves up, you know. Set it up, knock it down, like the bowling pins, you know. Set up and knock down. And then I had a guy almost want to bet me money. I said, I don't want to take your money though. He was going to bet. He was telling me he loves rye whiskey because it's a great type of bourbon. I said, well, it's not bourbon. It's a different type of whiskey. Bourbon and rye whiskey is not the same thing. They're whiskey, but they're not the same. Bourbon is mostly corn. Rye is mostly rye, at least 51%. And then he was telling me, somebody, I got money. I said, keep your money, because I know I'm right. And when you go research it, you're going to realize I'm right. And the next time I saw him, a week later, I saw him, he said, you're right. You were right. I said, I knew I was right. I appreciate you saying that. I think this is the Ballantine. Now, if you think the Dewar's 18-year age is $53 better, go ahead and buy it. I don't see it. Is it better? Well, yeah, it's better. It's a better product. It should be better. It's $53 more a bottle. Got it right. Dewar's 18-year age, the vintage. But I wouldn't pay extra $53. I wouldn't do it. I can only speak for me what I would do. I wouldn't do it. Because I like Dewar. I like Ballantines. I've heard some people say Ballantines, that's trash. That's garbage. I was like, have you ever had, and I could name some brands, and I bet you they haven't had the ones I could name, and I'll say, I'll show you trash, you know. You don't really know what trash is. Like some beer snobs will say Budweiser, oh, that's trash. And I tell them something. I get the feeling you've never tried Camo. If you ever tried Camo beers, you would think Budweiser is world class. you know, in a relative sense. So, and I'm not saying they're wrong. If they think Budweiser's trash, that's their opinion. Now, if they said something like Budweiser is made using corn, well, that would be incorrect. It's made using rice. There's no corn involved in it. So that would be an inaccurate statement. But an evaluation of quality is a subjective. It's subjective. It's not an objective reality. And what I'm saying right now is subjective. I think the Ballantines is good. I like it, and I would buy it again. Theoretically, not in reality, because I've got so many other ones I'd like to try. And like I call it, my long march through the brands. Long march through the brands. So, I mean, the only ones I've ever repurchased have been the Seagram 7 Crown, because I felt like I needed to go more into it. Like I needed more experience with it, because it was sort of like the prototypical American blended whiskey. It's the baseline that you compare everything against. So I needed more. Johnny Walker Red Label, I bought another bottle, and I bought a handle the next time, because it's really one you want to keep working through. And same thing with Crown Royal. I didn't buy more of it, but I bought a big handle right off the bat because, well, it's cheaper per ounce to start with. And secondly, I knew I need to process through it. If it's some specialty item like Dewar's Mezcal finish, yeah, you're not going to rebuy that. You're not going to repurchase. As good as it is, it's great, really. One of the best Scotch whiskeys I've had so far. But I wouldn't repurchase it, because it's like a little limited edition product that was only made for about 2 years, and then they got rid of it. I mean, they might bring it back one day, but now they're doing the Caribbean cask finish, rum cask finish, and then when that's played out, then they'll bring in something else, like maybe a cognac or wine barrel finish, something like that. All right. So short story long, I like both. I got a great deal on the Dewars. Like I said, the Ballantines, I got the regular price. It wasn't no kind of great deal like, oh, look what I found. It's just paid the regular price. And I'm glad I did, because it's a wonderful and enjoyable product. Would I like to try the 12-year, the 15-year, the 17-year, the 20-year, and the 40-year? Yeah, I'd like to try them, but I hate to see the price. Well, when you hate to pay the price, I bet it's outrageously high. But that goes with the territory. So, very good job. On the part of the whiskey companies. I guess I did a good job too, but it's more based on the whiskey companies having distinct flavors and aromas. I mean, I was able to taste them one from another, because they're not the same. They don't really taste alike. Okay, so 100 Pipers, same thing. I'm not going to get them confused. 100 Pipers sometimes when you taste it, has a smoky note. But then other times you taste it and it doesn't have a smoky note. So it's a little strange. That's a curiosity. Grants, I don't really like Grants, although I like it more now that I've experienced it over time than when the first few times it was like, man, this stuff is bad. This is the worst Scotch whiskey I've ever had. I was saying all that. But then I started realizing that it had some good qualities, and it was sort of a case of it was me, not the product. You know, like I couldn't understand the product so well. Still, that being said, I wouldn't be looking to buy Grants again. I said I like it more now than when I first was trying it. I didn't say I really liked it, and I don't think it's got a snowball's chance in New Orleans against Dewar's 18-year. That's going to be a catastrophe. That will be a catastrophe. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back. The plan is to be back Tuesday morning at dawn with Dewar's 18-year age, the vintage versus 100 Pipers. Thank you very much for watching this video production, and y'all take care and have a good Sunday. And we'll be back in about, what time is it now? We'll be back in about 3.5 hours, 3.5, 3 hours, 40 minutes with Stout Sunday. And I got my stout ready to go, and it's from Untitled Art, and it's called German Chocolate Cake Stout. So that'd be very interesting. Thanks for, and I don't know what other people are going to bring, some kind of stout or some kind of porter. And as we know, all stouts are porters. Thanks for watching.